if a young white man says something negative about women, they can be reported to Prevent.
Yep.
But why? But why? What I'm saying by that is, I can get, if a young Muslim guy says, I'm going to bomb the what's that place called in Manchester? The
Manchester Arena.
Manchester Arena. If a teacher overhears a young Muslim say, I'm going to bomb Manchester Arena, I can get that being reported to Prevent, because there's potential consequences there and risk and terror. But if a young boy says, oh, look at the size of that girl's boobs, which would be regarded as extreme misogyny, what is the benefit of reporting that to Prevent?
This is the way of the far left eating itself, because when are they going to start reporting young Muslim men to Prevent for this? So a young Muslim man sat in class going, my wife will not be working.
Yeah.
That's quite a common opinion in the Muslim
my wife
community.
will wear the hijab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they all being reported?
Yeah.
They'll upset the Muslim community if they do. So this, let's go back to the beginning. Misogyny. What is misogyny? So the definition of misogyny, the correct definition, is a hatred of all women. Men do not hate all women. Certain men may hate certain women. But just like racism and all these other words, they've now changed the definition. So misogyny basically now means sexism against a woman.
Yeah.
We had the word for that. It was called sexism. But feminists stopped using the word sexism because men started using it against them. You're being sexist towards me as a man. And they were. So feminists said we can't keep using this word sexist because it backfires on us. Let's use this word misogyny. We'll change the meaning and we'll use that word. And that's what this means. So misogyny now means anything a woman doesn't like is misogyny. And like all hate crimes, it's unworkable.
But what is the difference between, and I think I'm right in my words here, what is the difference between misogyny and misandry? So misandry is a dislike of
men
and women.
No, misandry is a hatred of all men.
Yeah. So if a man or a woman is a misandrist, if that's the correct terminology, what's the difference? Should that be reported to Prevent as well?
Well, if they're looking for equality, then yes.
Yeah. But
no one takes misandry serious.
Yeah.
So
but if a young man says, I hate all men who live in this part of Leeds or whatever, that's misandry, isn't it? And that, is that a terrorist? Is that a potential?
Misandry is hating all men.
Right. Okay.
So not just men in that area, not just men like that.
So if a young guy at the back of the class who nobody talks to, has no friends, says, the teacher walks past, says, I hate all men, should he then be reported to Prevent?
Technically, probably.
Yeah, but my point about that is no, they wouldn't. But how is that in any way an indication, whether you say I hate all women or I hate all men, how is that an indication of a potential terrorist threat?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
So we increase the referrals into Prevent, which means they've got less time looking at the ones that could be serious.
Yeah.
Because we just dilute it with more and more rubbish.
Yeah.
So the misandry thing has come out of the new campaign about stop violence against women and girls. Well, that's great. But why don't you call it stop violence against everybody? Because men are 3 times more likely to be murdered than women. So we've got a greater need if you want to just say stop men being murdered.
Yeah.
But I want violence against everybody being stopped. But we don't, because again the feminists only look after themselves. The Muslims only care about themselves. The Nigerians only care about themselves. Hence why we're splitting into tribes. We're all going against each other rather than saying, do you know what? Why don't we end poverty instead of ending African poverty or ending female poverty?
Yeah.
Why don't we end poverty? Why don't we end all crime, all knife crime? Why do we have to break it down to a certain group to say, let's end this particular crime just for them? Well, no. But this is what's happening. But the left will eat itself on this one. Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers. I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.